Good evening, friends. Today I will cover a very important topic on the supply chain gamut, which is called negotiation. What is negotiation? What are the objectives of negotiation? The negotiation process, the techniques of negotiation. Almost in everyday life, everything we do on a daily basis, like deciding, for example, for a lunch with a family or a friend, buying a new car, or going for an interview process for a job, all this process involves negotiating. It goes without a knowledge that we are in the process of negotiating on a day to day basis of all the requirements and needs, what we need and what we look for. So, whenever you need the cooperation of another person to do something, however small, you are involved in the process of negotiation. Negotiation is not a magic, right? Nor a rocket science. It's a simple protocol of exchange. In today's world of business negotiations, we must know how to negotiate strategically rather than leave it to chance. The process by which at least two people or two sides seek to make something happen is negotiation. To be successful, both sides must agree to resolution. This is the beginning of the negotiation process. Where it will lead to finally is that both sides must cooperate to implement and make an effective contract as they have accepted during the process of negotiations. This is in today's business parlance a very important step in the negotiations. We never assume you know how events will change or turn around or lay out, what the other side wants or how they will react. Always expect the unexpected is the mantra of negotiations. Well, what are the objectives of a negotiation? It is to obtain a fair and reasonable price for the quality specified, to get the supplier's performance to the contract on time, to exert control on the manner in which the contract is performed, to persuade the support to give maximum support and cooperation to the buyer's company, to the sellers, of course, to develop a sound and continuing relationship with the competent suppliers. How this negotiation process helps the procurement and improve the bottom line. Most of the firms and companies stress the need to increase the sales or improve the profit with a simple logic which goes based on my experience, which says sales minus the cost is equal to profit. We all know that this simple thumb rule, sales minus cost is equal to profit. To increase the profitability, either we have to increase the sales so that the booster of the sales will bring higher profitability to the organization, or the other option is to reduce the cost. Reducing the cost means we have to integrate the suppliers into the organizations, or the suppliers will be treated as extended organizations of the company. So we all know that even a small benefit of percentage reduction in the cost increase the profitability to more than 2 times the percentage of cost reduction, which really helps to improve the bottom line and profitability of the organization. Well, friends, the negotiation process, what is very critical here is negotiators' most important responsibility is two things. One is preparing the negotiations to appraise one his own strengths and weakness accurately in relation to the seller's strength and weaknesses. So he must be ready, prepared for these scenarios. And another important factor in negotiation is the timing of negotiation is important as a substance. So we will cover briefly what are the seller strength and buyer strength. I will cover 3 points which I feel is very critical based on my past experience in this domain and my knowledge. If you take seller strength, number one, how badly the seller wants or desires the contract. Frequently, the buyers receive a call from the sellers, or the seller keeps, or the salesman keeps coming and knocking the door of the firm every time. The general market conditions are being known to everybody in and around. So when we all know that the boom is high, the seller has got a strong bargaining position, and when there is a recession, the reverse happens. Another strength of the supplier or the seller side or supply side is how certain is the seller in getting the contract. Today in this modern business competitive environment, we work as a team to lead to the business goals and objectives. So if a seller learns from some other departments that he is the only technically qualified specifications and it meets the best requirements of the contract from the engineering team or the design team, or when he comes to know that he is the lowest quoted bidder in this tender, then it becomes most difficult to negotiate for the buyers. The buyers can take some steps to threaten him to go for more alternative sources, vendors, etc. But the buyer is in a weak wicket. Considering this, the company should have a stricter policy that only the procurement team should be the face of the organization and external stakeholders concerned. Another important aspect from the seller's strength is the time available to negotiate the contract. If the seller smells that the supplier or that the buyer has got a shorter lead time, and the seller knows that the buyer has the right tight timelines, and he calls them for last minute discussions, then obviously the buyer is under severe pressure to culminate the contract. Hence, in such a weaker situation, the seller has got upper hand on the negotiations. When it comes to the buyer side, I will take three critical points. One is the buyer has to bring in a lot of competition among the potential suppliers. He has to increase the competition by bringing in new vendors, take a decision of make or in-house buy decisions, giving tool and financial supports, giving quality support and management support in terms of technical, financial assistance, etc. Another important aspect for the buyer is he must have a thorough knowledge of the cost or the price analysis. Both are critically different in our parlance. Cost analysis basically is a comprehensive analysis of all applicable costs, which includes the raw material cost, labor cost, the transportation cost, the overheads, the profits, the payment cost, the scrap recovery cost, and any other process related cost as need be. Versus the price analysis portion is nothing but which generally follows with the contract commercial terms, the standard payment terms, the price analysis will suffice. So all these factors, the cost, price, and the financial strength, helps a greater extent to become a successful negotiator. Another important factor for the buyer is the thoroughness of the preparation in the process. Thorough knowledge of the product is required. He must have used how it is used, where it is used. He must be knowing the methods of manufacturing, what products can be substituted and alternate materials and value engineering can bring to the table, and what are the future plans and negotiation requirements which will help him to build a strong team and conclude the deal. Planning becomes a very important condition to be negotiated, to be arrived upon. It is the outcome of any contract hinges between the buyer seller's power, the negotiating skills, and how both perceive the negotiation process. The ideal position will be to reach the objective position rather than the minimum or maximum levels which is being set. To reach this objective position, the best estimate of cost and the marginal profit is to be ascertained, and not the minimum or maximum. It should be a logical analysis of negotiation and not economical bargaining. Briefly, we'll go into the techniques of negotiation, and I will just cover the critical points. These techniques is basically nothing but the negotiator's working tools, how we achieve or strategize his goals. One, how we organize issues, be sure of the opponent's authority to do it, negotiate on home grounds. I will continue this video in next session due to paucity of this 10 minutes slot in the LinkedIn. Thank you.